My name is Segun Abiona. I'm the founder, creative director, innovations director for Nicole and Giovanni socks. We produce the best wearing socks here in Africa, and we cater for the entire family, more or less from newborn to the highest age group. As a typical Nigerian, growing up was cool. Of course, more like a typical Nigerian situation. Had a very good growing up. I was very privileged in terms of, even though my parents were in the high income kind of earners, but they still survived sending us to very good private schools. And it was actually fun growing up. And two boys who practically were looking up to me as very good examples for them. It was quite challenging because they want to pick up on one or two things that you're doing at the same time. But it was quite, like I said, it's interesting. Daddy, mommy, yeah, my mom is late, but I can tell you convincingly she deposited, I think, the most important virtues in me as a man before she left, and I think I'm not doing badly now. And I say a very big thank you to mommy. And for daddy, honestly, if you have the opportunity to look at this, just know that I'm very proud of you as a father. And thank you for giving me the very best of values while growing up. Well, my experience with the two investment firms actually were eye-openers for me, because at the time with the firms, I got what you can actually buy with money, which is exposure. I knew what was obtainable in the market, and at the same time, I knew what was going on offshore. So I felt it was very important for me to actually learn more and be better than the average kind of person. So I went abroad to school, of course, and I think some few months to my finishing my master's, I got a job with Backlays, which I want to say is one of the best jobs I've ever done, because I learned a whole lot. And one of those things that we're applying to my business as we speak is one huge case of advocacy that I was taught. You can imagine going through training for close to 3 years on a particular topic, or should I say on a particular scenario. Yes, Backlays was a huge, in fact, is a huge plus to my career, because I learned a whole lot in terms of how to handle businesses and how to endure as a brand. So it's really, it depends on which area you also want to know about. But I can tell you convincingly, while the Nigerian experience actually taught me how to handle very tough situations, handle how to deal with, the environment that is not really so enabling. The Backlays on the other side was teaching me how to actually professionally also handle, situations, when your brand actually have those challenges. So in altogether, the experiences over the years actually built who you are seeing today and the kind of business I'm actually running. So everything happened while I was in England. Yes, Nicole is my daughter. Yeah, while Giovanni is my son. And I guess when the whole story was starting, like I said, I was working in England with Backlays, and one of those mornings while going to work with my headphones, if you are a true Londoner, you know that whenever everybody's going to work, nobody talks to each other, so everybody's just going on a straight road. And that particular morning, I guess I asked myself, is this what I want to keep doing for the rest of my life? Waking up every morning, jumping the bus, even though my workplace is just less than 15 to 20 minutes from home. but I take a particular bus every morning. And that morning, I just told myself, is this what I want to keep doing for the rest of my life? At that moment when I asked myself that question, I couldn't answer it, but I am not apologetic, and I have to say it, how much I really love God and how much I believe that God is the greatest director when it comes to you finding your purpose in life. And at that point, I couldn't answer those questions, but I asked God that question. Okay, what do you want me to do next? And just one funny afternoon after work, it wasn't as if I got the answer almost immediately. I was still brewing and thinking, brainstorming what next to do, until one day I came back from work, and as I was sitting down, just like the way I'm sitting down now, I tried to relax, and I think I fell into a trance and got the word socks. It sounded very strange, very, very strange, because for me, I felt after all I've been through, after the whole masters, after the whole trainings, I felt, is it socks that I'm going to be going to do? But the truth is that word came again. The word came again, and this time around it was much more stronger. And I had that affirmation. So I picked the phone up and called my wife and said, look, honey, this is what I'm hearing. And she said, you know what, if that is exactly what you're hearing, go for it. And that also reminds me, anything in life, the very first few people you actually talk about such purpose or such dreams really, really matter a lot, because I wonder if my partner had actually negated my move. Maybe I might have been filled with a lot of doubts, but because she was so supportive and she gave me that, first affirmation, I felt very confident of myself, and I told myself if I was going to build the business, it has to be world class. And that's the way I now found out that, okay, I have had the opportunity to travel to a lot of countries, and the exposure was so high for me. So I knew what was obtainable when you walk into Harrods. I know what was obtainable when you go into, Jermyn Street in London. And I felt I was not going to do anything less than that. And really, that was the spur that I actually used. Then the name Nicole and Giovanni, like I said, the Nicole being my daughter and Giovanni being my son. And the ladybird that you see on the logo is actually a symbol of peace. Because if you actually think about it, ladybird is the only insect that a parent will see with his or her child and still not kill, compared to any sort of ants or insects you see with your child. So it's a logo that endures family, and it's all about peace in all form of it. So I think basically that's how that name came into the scene, and how we actually started. I would say that the reason why the business was set up in Nigeria is because I knew from the start, even before I left Nigeria, that I wasn't going to be staying abroad for too long. That's number one. And number two, I felt we had a better chance in terms of the market. And after my analysis, it was so obvious that the London market, in terms of the London stock market, was to a certain level saturated. So I was looking for a place where I would be able to, explore, and at the same time, give my best to it. No matter how challenging it's been, in Nigeria, I felt it was the best place for me to start. And it has really, really proven to be right, because I know what the numbers are saying in terms of when we first started, and primarily starting up a business. In as much as we have a very good chance to still go back to London and launch, I still believe that Nigeria is still the very best place for anyone to start a business, because number one, regardless of the environment being tough, which nobody would say they don't know about that, you still have a very, very strong chance. In fact, a very higher possibility and probability for you to succeed in Nigeria compared to, in London. Why? Because the market, like I said, is saturated. Number two, you have to also look at the effects of taxes and all those kind of things. So for you, what that tells you also is that before you start a business, you need to look at the surrounding. You look at the we call it modus operandi, all those things that would really tell the probability of success of that kind of business. So for us, it's been the most interesting thing to have started in Nigeria, and I must confess to you that right now I have no regrets. It's been the most beautiful thing that ever happened to me to have started here in Nigeria. I would not say don't seek greener pastures, but I would say know the reason why you're seeking that greener pasture. Number one, I just like you were asking me why I decided to come back and start the business in Nigeria. I knew in the first place the reason why I was going abroad was to take advantage of the educational system and probably to get myself another level of exposure. Imagine me not having that kind of exposure. Maybe I might not be at this high in terms of what we can offer. There's a saying that says Nemo that could not abet. You can't give what you don't have. So it's only what you've been able to amass in terms of experience, exposure, your learning, the people you are able to relate with, and all sort of things that probably makes the brand. So for me, it's quite a fact that I would say that go abroad, see the world. It's always a good thing to see the world, but don't have it at the back of your mind. If you choose to stay abroad, well, it's all well and good. We all have different purpose in life. So I'm not going to say no, don't go abroad. But I would say that if you can take the good part of the abroad and bring it back home, honestly, it will definitely go a long way in making you a better person. To be a very fantastic entrepreneur, you need to have a lot of information on hand. But at the same time, you don't want to be too analytical. When you are too analytical, you see too much problems, you see too much issues coming up, and at the end of the day, you might end up not doing what you're supposed to do. So my own major advice in this case is that you need to be very, very candid with whatsoever you're doing and know the reason why you're doing it. I didn't look at the numbers, but I believe I saw the potential in increasing the numbers. And let's be factual. In our country here in Nigeria, we have a lot of office people. We have people, and you know what? There are two seasons. There is the wet season, there is the dry season. So the wet season, it's a constant. People will want to wear socks. Dry season, people will also want to wear socks because it has to be worn. So it's not a product that is absolute seasonal. It's a product that is an everyday wear, regardless of the situation. So as long as you're working, and as a man, as a boy, as a growing person, as an aged person, you would still need to wear socks. So that number didn't really affect me that much, but we can actually see the numbers now. So it was good for me that I didn't start to analyze so much of the numbers before I started, or else maybe I would have been scared of what might end the business. But I think so far so good. Education of university to now is absolutely phenomenal, because the truth is, at the university, you get to learn a lot in terms of classwork and consistency sake and everything. But I think the part that really, really has helped is this being street smart, because when you're in the university, you have to survive, especially for people like us that probably never had, the silver spoon. So I knew while in school I needed to find something to pay for, some of my bills. So it was a case of trying to survive. So, the survival instinct in you makes the university very interesting. Let me now say the university abroad was another completely different ball game. At that point, while doing my master's, my wife was also pregnant. So you can imagine, it was a very, very tough period, but it was quite interesting. because all the experiences over that period also have made me very strong, and my decision-making ability, at this moment is off the hook, because for you to succeed in life, you are more or less going to be a product of your experiences. So your experience over the years is what makes you the kind of person you are. So left for me, it has really, really aided my being a success in my business. So I will advise anyone who actually is going through that same process to learn as much as they can, because when you start the raw business, you can't go back. You can only, take the positives from what has happened in the past to affect what is going on. And all the negatives that happened in the past will also teach you what you shouldn't get yourself involved, while you're in business. Yes, it can be a deterrent when you are about to scale up your business. Especially, you find out that businesses in Nigeria, we have a lot of entrepreneurs now, but they will tell you one of the major reasons why they cannot scale their businesses is because they don't have access to funds, and which we also have that kind of challenges at times. But I would say no, it's not a deterrent at the other side, because when you're starting a business, there is this gusto that you not having funds does to you. You are able to plan better. You are able to think of the best way to use your limited resource to achieve more. So when you're starting up a business, you practically don't need too much funds. You maybe need funds to start up, funds to do some little things, but at the same time, it's not really the most important thing. Socks, and that's fantastic. Nice that you noticed that most of the socks comes in African names, and the reason is simply because we are trying to change our narrative about what people actually know about Africa. And anytime we are abroad kind of doing exhibitions, actually, we also have we have an office in Houston that serves the international market. So whenever the names are seen, people are inquisitive about why should your name be Olarinwaju. The truth is our culture is so rich. Now, for anybody to name their son Olarinwaju means that there is a circumstance that has happened before naming that child that name. So you want to know the reason, it will make you very curious to want to go search for what Olarinwaju is. Then you find out that there is a cultural, acceptance with all these names. We have the Akelo names from different part of Africa trying to talk about our narrative. Because the truth is, you go to Russia, you hear the Viktor Yushchenko and all those stuff. They are proud of their names, but we aren't really proud of ours. So our brand was a very good avenue to actually talk so much about us. You can imagine the name of the socks bearing an Igbo name or an Hausa name or an Egyptian name or a Senegalese name or a South African name. So this goes a long way in actually sharing a narrative, because it's easy for people to want to say, okay, what's the meaning of this? And by there, they want to that's the reason why you have Google. You just probably put the name Akelo and put it in Google, and you probably will see a lot. So trust me, it's one of the best things that ever happened to us. Besides socks, actually maybe I will give Enterprise TV the opportunity and say it on air this time around. We're coming up with a lot of things. We have over 13 line items that we want to introduce, but we are going to be introducing it in batches. Number one, we still have our socks. We have shoelaces. We have greeting cards. You remember that, the card thing has gone with our phones, with our emails, but we're trying to bring back a culture of we trying to inscribe our feelings on paper. So we also have the greeting cards, and we have other sort of things that are coming. In another maybe 8 or 9 weeks, we'll be introducing another set of socks. close to 20 designs, close to 20 new designs. So that is going to be interesting. So you better watch out for the pre-order season so you can take advantage of the pricing. I'm sure you already know we don't do sales. So it will be a very good avenue for you to take advantage of the new socks. And hopefully in another few months, we'll be seeing the next set of products. It's already lined up already. So we're just going to be, offering to the market. So I can tell you convincingly that we have a lot to offer the market. Very soon, be the African Zara. What do you think? Well, challenges are numerous. Challenges will always come and go. One of our major challenges, or should I say our major challenges, number one is FX. The foreign exchange part of our business is really, really challenging in terms of, I remember vividly when we had these unsettled dollar rates, and for us, we're not producing at the moment in Nigeria, and which is really a challenge on us. We all know that we've got cotton, but we don't have the refined cotton. So there are some certain materials that we need to actually have, but we don't have it. The mechanized power, we don't have it. So there's so many reasons why we can't produce at the moment here in Africa. So we have to probably produce abroad. And producing abroad means foreign exchange. And the instability of the FX market is a huge challenge on us. But thank God for our American arm of the business, which also helps us to edge against the dollar to a certain level. That actually, we have been able to reduce the challenges from that end over time. We also have the, challenge with staffing. Why? Because you find a lot of our graduates this time around not being up to, they're practically, I'm sorry to say, they're half-baked. Because you find out that a lot of people that you expect to kick and run, it's difficult to find them to kick and run. So you have to go, over and over, which is, the normal order of training. But the problem is also staff turnover, because everybody wants to move, along faster. So you don't see people actually staying long in a role, except, those ones who see, themselves with you in the future before they go on their own. So there are numerous factors. The environment is also a factor, but while it's also a factor, it's also an opportunity, because in every challenge, you have to try and see the opportunity that is involved. So I can tell you convincingly that there are a lot of challenges, and there will always be challenges, and new challenges are also emerging. But we hope that with increasing knowledge and with increasing understanding of the business environment, you tend to find solutions to all these challenges as they come your way. So I think that is the nature of businesses, if possible, small businesses in Nigeria at the moment. My name is Segun Abiona again, and I'm on Enterprise Television. I want you to know that this is one of the best things that has happened to us here in Africa, an online TV station with a presence. So for me, I will be advising you today that please keep watching Enterprise TV and just stay tuned. Cheers.